Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our presentation on special circumstances. My name is James Quinn. I'm an office professional with Delta College's Financial Aid Office. And with me here today is Elvina Sika, Assistant Director of Financial Aid. Looking at our main topics, we're going to first define special circumstances for you, so you have an idea of what the term actually means. Next, we'll look at whether you might have a special circumstance based on a couple of examples we'll look at. Third, we'll go over a basic process overview that a student will go through in order to have an adjustment made. And fourth, we'll take a closer look at documentation and see some of the typical documents we request from a student for a special circumstance adjustment. So, to begin with special circumstances, there are multiple different types of special circumstance. But to understand what that term means, we really have to understand that the FAFSA requires you to enter prior year tax information. And for the most recent FAFSA, it's going to be 2019 tax information. So in rare cases, that old tax information doesn't match up with a student's current financial situation. And today, we're going to focus primarily on loss of employment or significant reduction of earnings. So notice the significant there. We want to make sure that this change is large enough to merit an adjustment, or that the change isn't higher, so that you're not earning more income. An adjustment wouldn't benefit you then, and we'll go through that in detail. But keep in mind, you do need to be currently enrolled when you do these special circumstances. So if you are planning to do a special circumstance for the 2020-2021 academic year, the only semester remaining is spring. You'll need to be enrolled there. If you're planning to do one for fall, winter, or spring after that, in the 2021-2022 academic year, you want to make sure that you're registered for those. All right, so let's get into our examples. Here we're going to look at whether you specifically have a special circumstance or not. So, in our first example here, you can see the FAFSA information on the left and our example on the right. The FAFSA was filled out with that 2019 tax information, as I said, and we're looking at 2020 tax information to determine what our current situation is for this student. Now, this student worked for 2 months out of the year in 2020, and then they earned unemployment benefits for the rest of the year. And you can see this student's adjusted gross income went down significantly, more than 2/3 there, you see. So their income from work was $2,000 and their unemployment benefits was $8,000. So this student has a special circumstance due to their loss of employment that would merit an adjustment to their financial aid eligibility. In this next example, we still have the FAFSA information on the left, but in this example, although we're also looking at 2020 information, this is a different student. And this student worked for 6 months out of the year in 2020 and then received their unemployment benefits for the remaining 6 months. And though they were unemployed, their unemployment benefits, along with their income from work, actually made their adjusted gross income higher at $34,000 compared to the $30,000 that they earned in 2019. So an adjustment here would not benefit the student. It would reduce this student's eligibility, in fact. So no adjustment would be made for this student. They may have a special circumstance, but it does not merit an adjustment. So to see both your current and past situations and determine if you might have a special circumstance, I want you to look at your tax information for 2018, 2019, 2020, and your expected income for 2021. But we want to work mostly with these tax returns, so pay attention to these. I have an example of the 2020 1040 on your screen here, and we're looking at majorly lines 1, 8, and 11, with a major focus on line 11. So you'll see in line 1 is your current wages, salaries, and tips, so that should be your income from work. Line 8, we'll see the additional income items that you reported on your Schedule 1. Now that isn't necessarily unemployment benefits, but those should be reported on that schedule. So you'll want to look at the schedule specifically to see what type of income that was. But majorly, we're looking at line 11, which is your adjusted gross income. That should total up your income items and any adjustments that had to be made to your income for your majorly what the federal government considers to be your income for the year. So pay attention to that number and look between the academic years and the FAFSA that you're planning to look at here. For the 2021-2022 academic year, you want to check if your 2020 or your expected 2021 income is significantly less than your 2019 tax information. And then, of course, that also might merit an adjustment. So we can look at the 2 years leading up to the semester that you're going to attend. So keep that in mind. If maybe in 2020 your income was mostly the same, but in 2021 you lost employment and you're seeing that your income is going steeply down and you haven't found another job, that kind of situation, then we can still consider that, but it's a lot more complicated. So we want to remain with this tax information as much as we can. So next I have here a list of difficult circumstances that on their own will not be considered special circumstances. You see excessive car payments, bankruptcy, high credit card debt. In these situations, they may appear along with other actual special circumstances, and that's okay. But on their own, we wouldn't be able to use bankruptcy as a way to determine special circumstance. So keep that in mind. If you have any of these items, like adjustments to overtime, voluntary employment buyouts, or retirement account withdrawals, these are things that we could not make adjustments based on. So now we move on to the process overview. So here we start with step one. I want you to evaluate your situation. Special circumstance adjustments require a lot of time and documentation to complete. So I want you to consider these two questions to determine if this will be worth your time. First is, are my resources significantly lower? We look for about 20% or more. So when you're looking at those tax returns, make sure that there's an adjustment where it's lower and by a significant amount. Second, can I document my circumstances? So tax information is precisely what we want to see. That's documentable income for you. So if you can use that, that's excellent. So if you can show between your 2020 tax information and what you had reported on the FAFSA that you're actually earning a lot less now, that we can work with. Or if you have other circumstances, try and think of ways that you could possibly document that. And if you can answer yes to both of these questions, it's a good idea to move on to step two. Step two is to speak with financial aid staff. The best way to contact us right now is by calling 989-686-9080 and asking to speak about special circumstances. This is how you officially begin the process. So you'll need to speak with us, and only our financial aid office can make adjustments for special circumstance. Do not attempt to go back onto your FAFSA and make any corrections for this kind of thing, because we'll have to go and correct it to the original information and then go in and see if we can do the special circumstance adjustment. So it's not very helpful. We'll have to request information for 2 years. Not fun. So we will further evaluate your circumstances at this point, and if an adjustment seems possible, we will give you a form to fill out, and we'll work with you to find what appropriate documentation we'll need in order to make an adjustment. Okay, in step three, you submit documentation. So in this step, you're going to collect all of the documentation our office requested and submit that along with the special circumstance form. Any incomplete special circumstance adjustment forms will be denied. So make sure you pay attention in this step and you include everything we ask for. And fourth, you wait for the decision. So this is where financial aid staff reviews your circumstances, all of the documentation you submitted, and they make a decision. So if an adjustment can be made, we'll make the appropriate changes, and then your special circumstance request will be approved. If no adjustments can be made, or making an adjustment wouldn't be beneficial to you, no adjustments would be made, and your special circumstance request would be declined. Either way, you will receive an email communication to inform you of the result of that decision. Keep in mind though, Once a special circumstance decision is made, it cannot be appealed. All right, and final section here, we're going to take a look at documentation. So remember, we'll let you know what documentation we'll need to see in order to make adjustments, but the common things that we ask for are a special circumstance form and a written statement explaining the special circumstance. So you're going to need to be able to explain in writing what's going on so that we can document that for you. Other documents, especially considered for loss of employment, are signed copies of federal tax returns and W-2s, verification of change in employment from your employer, final pay stubs, and record of unemployment benefits received. So these are the common documents that we look for. So keep that in mind when you're considering that question, can I document my circumstances? These are the kinds of things that we have to look at in order to fully document and make an adjustment. And that rounds out our main presentation. If you have questions, please contact us. Our email is listed there, finaid@delta.edu, and our phone number, 989-686-9080. We also have our office hours listed here. In the spring, we'll move to a Monday to Thursday schedule, so keep that in mind if you're contacting us soon. If you're looking for more information regarding special circumstances, visit financial aid in your portal under student resources. And we have a page there that should help explain some more.